Yep, just pressed it.
Oh,
And you see, it happened. Morning, guys.
good
Good
morning.
morning.
How are
How's
you?
everyone doing today so far?
All right.
So far,
Hold on.
I don't see what that says.
Cozy.
Cup of cozy. Today's a day to be cozy.
Today's
the
the day
blankets.
to be cozy. It's overcast up here. There's snow on the ground.
Lovely.
I don't think you have snow near you, but this is the first snow of the season. We can only hope that there's going
More.
to be a white Christmas.
But no,
You don't want a white Christmas?
no, I want to see my family. That's more important.
Well, we don't want it to be so white that you won't be able to travel.
Yeah.
But a white Christmas would be lovely. Listen, we sing about it every year. We might as well have one.
3 or 4 inches on the ground is enough.
3 or 4
Mhm.
inches on the ground is probably a light dusting.
Light
Dusting. So it looks pretty, large snowflakes, so it looks like a snow globe. That's what we're looking for. Good morning,
Mhm.
everyone who's joining us. ThinTechers, people who are trying to be healthy, people who are looking forward to the new year. We have somewhat of a different topic today. And let me lead into this now, Jen, because you guys don't even know what we're discussing today.
Oh, we never know what we're discussing. We just
Well, the
Well,
topic
yeah.
says priest and angels, so one
Priest?
can only imagine. Imagine.
Priests and angels. When you saw that, what was your first thought, Corinne?
I don't even see it.
Is Dr. R going holy today?
Yeah, we are going holy today. Dr. R is going to preach for the first time. Don't get turned off by it.
Ugh.
I know sometimes when we hear preaching, we get turned off. It's not going to be total preaching. It's not going to be fire and brimstone, but it is the holiday season. We are about to have Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and I guess other holidays. So if we are going to preach, this is the time to do it.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. I might need a little time to explain, but let's begin.
The wind up.
The wind up. Yes. Yeah. I'm reminded of a time that I was in chiropractic school, and it was lunchtime, and I happened to be in one of the buildings, one of the classroom buildings, and I walked past a classroom, and I heard this guy in one of the classrooms, and he was standing there. He was actually preaching. He had a Bible. He was preaching. And so I looked around, and nobody was in there. He was preaching to himself. So I'm like, okay, I've got to know, right? I walk in there. I'm like, hey, dude, there's no one here. What are you doing? He's like, the Lord called me to preach. I committed to preach. So that's what I'm doing. And I said, God bless you, brother. So that's the kind of mood I'm in today.
Yep.
I committed to doing it, so I'm going to do it. Let's define some terms here, first of all, so we know what we're talking about. Now, a priest, when we talk about priests, I think the best example of a priest, or at least the original example, was Moses. What did Moses do? What made him a priest? Well, Moses literally crawled into the muck, into the mire, where people were living in servitude, and he said, there is a better life for you. There's something better. You don't have to be this way. Moses was not ordained as a priest. He did not go through seminary. So I would argue that priests are not priests because they have the robes, because they are ordained.
Right.
Now, in a very official, narrow way, that is exactly what a priest is. But the larger picture is a priest because they are committed. Right? They are committed to helping people, to telling people that there is something better, for painting that vision for them, and hopefully giving them the impetus to get out of it, to get out of servitude in the case of the slaves. Right? We'll have to look at our own lives and see if we are in servitude in some degree or another. Now, an angel is different than a priest. An angel is someone you tether yourself to, who takes you to a higher and better place. You communicate with that person. You make a connection with an angel. And it doesn't mean that you're not enough. It means that it's a being, not necessarily a person, but a being who is also committed. An angel is not an angel because they have wings. An angel is not an angel because they can fly or they, twitter around in the sky. An angel is an angel because they are committed to being your angel. Now, why do I say this? Well, there was an old song, Jen, and I know you like this song because we've quoted it to each other before.
Which one?
Woodstock.
Oh, yeah. By the time, yeah, yep,
Okay?
yep.
The song Woodstock implores us. We have to get ourselves back to the garden.
Yeah.
Okay? We have to get out of this place that we're in. We have to get to a better place. We have to create a better condition for ourselves. And that is true. When we talk about that specifically,
I can't post anything.
people are suffering and people are in servitude when it comes to their bodies, when it comes to their weight, in a very narrow sense. Isn't that true?
Mhm.
Well, we're tethered to our bodies, which are
We're tethered to our bodies, and our bodies could either be a source of liberation or it can be a source of torment.
Yeah.
Right? But there is a better place possible. We know this.
Mm-hmm.
We discussed it last week, rather, pardon me. This dovetails with what we were talking about vision and purpose. We're about to have a blank slate soon in a couple of weeks. What is life supposed to be like? Is it supposed to be suffering? Are we supposed to be in the mire?
No.
Or are we supposed to tether ourselves and grow wings ourselves and fly? Now, I would submit, is the dog scratching itself while I'm preaching?
Yes, sir.
Oh, my
One of
Lord.
my angels.
There's no respect. All right. So in all humility, I would suggest that my job is to be a priest. Okay. I don't want to offend anybody. I don't say that in the religious sense. I say that because,
Say preacher instead of priest.
Well, people can be offended if they want. It's not the purpose.
Right.
All right. It's not only preaching, right? Again, a priest has been there before. A priest understands. A priest suggests that, there is something better. It's a commitment thing. It's not, I'm not being self-aggrandizing. I'm just saying, as far as a role. And by the way, rabbi, which might be more appropriate, is an educator.
You're right.
Right? Teacher.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is what I do. We painted the picture last week. What is it supposed to be like? We have to get clear on our visions. Life is not supposed to be suffering, in my estimation. Your body is not supposed to be a place that you don't want to be.
Yeah.
Right? We're supposed to wake up in the morning having a sense of hope. Right. Our first thought is not supposed to be what a burden it is to get out of bed and how much pain we have and how we're so unhappy with ourselves and our appearance and how we're so frustrated that we can't seem to do anything about it.
Well, think about it like this. If we are so focused on our body, on our pains, on our aches, about what it looks like and what we're doing, how do we have any energy to create a better place out in the world, right? So the key is to take the focus off the body. But that starts with work. It starts with, whatever you're doing, whether you're doing like a cleanse or a detox or shedding extra pounds or mental weight, whatever it is, so that you could then use that energy to do something really beneficial out there. So that's really,
you are right on, Angel,
what we have to do. So it's funny. This morning I was listening to Train. Besides country music, I actually love Train. It's probably the one group I like all of their songs from, and one of their songs is Calling All Angels. So I was listening to that song, and then I was listening to Jane Siberry, very different tone in her music, who also has a song Calling All Angels, because these are the segues I do. And I was thinking, how am I going to post these somewhere, Facebook, Twitter, as positive posts without offending people about religion? because people get weirded out about religion. Here you are talking about priests and angels. So it's funny because I had the lyrics up for both songs and I'm like, wow.
Well, once again, I know you like to share a mind with me, but
Oh God.
I want to submit that my staff are angels. Corinne is an angel as well, because again of the commitment, of the taking responsibility to help people go to a higher place. Jen is the head angel. All right. And I do want to instruct our clients, angels can get tired.
Yeah.
Help your angels, help them to help you.
Me help you.
That's right. Don't be resistant to their contribution to you.
Yeah.
Don't be overly difficult. Understand that these are angels. These are people here to help, and you are to form a line with them, a communication line. You are to tether yourself and let them take you to a better place where you are literally lighter.
Yeah.
All right. Are you okay, Corinne?
Yeah, I just have a cold.
I called Corinne an angel and she started coughing. So I don't know what that means.
Yeah, well.
She was like, yeah, angel, yeah.
Yeah,
Mike's in the background going, you should only know.
Sherry agrees. She
after
says,
21 year, 25 years, he should think I'm an angel.
Yeah, there you go. So, hey, Cher. Thank you.
God,
So-
you know, there's a lot of wisdom in all of this religious imagery. These are models that work and have worked for millennia. Jen, what were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say, I used an example the other day. I was talking to one of my kids and I was saying, I'm not here to control you, or I'm here to be a safety net, right?
Right.
Like to be, and I say this all the time with the clients too, like this is me holding space for you. You have a lot of power of your own. I'm just here to be a safety net and to guide you along the way. When you're close to getting where you need to be, I don't just take the safety net away so that you fall. I give this back to you, which is your power that you had all along, but you didn't know that you had it. You didn't know that you could. And whatever that is, this is the safety net. So I use that I'm trying to be with my family a little bit more the way I'm with my clients. And I realized I have all these great tools that I need to use at home. And that's what I did. And it was a breakthrough for her. She was like, oh.
Yeah, people tend to be weird on the subjects of help. I think that they perceive that it says something about them, that they're needy, that they're not enough, that they can't do it. They should be able to do it on their own.
Yeah.
Corinne, I mean, have you seen that in your life, whether it's with you personally, with your children, with clients, where people, tend to resist help and they're just a little bit odd about it?
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, that happens all the time, but the truth of the matter is it has to come from belief. And as soon as you start believing you can do something, that's when you'll do it.
Yeah.
And that's where it comes from. And that's why like people have so much self-doubt
Right.
that they're not necessarily odd about the idea of asking for help. They're odd about the idea of letting somebody know that there's so much self-doubt within oneself that they're kind of opening up a book that they don't want to be opened.
Right. But isn't that why people listen to sermons in the first place? Isn't that why priests and angels are necessary in the first place? Because they're able to give strength. They're able to remind people and help them when a person is full of self-doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes on in my own house all the time. I have my 13-year-old who's like, I don't know if I could do this. I don't know if I could do that. And I say to her all the time, it starts with belief. As soon as you start believing you can, you will. And I mean, the prime example is it happened this weekend. She's like, I don't think I can. I don't think I can. And then she goes and she does a swim meet and she swims a junior Olympic cut. And it's like, I told you could. And you believed you could.
Right. Jen, how do you help clients with that? I mean, people come to us and often they're full of doubts. They don't necessarily believe. I mean, think about it this way. If everyone believed that they can be healthy for life, if everyone believed that they could be lean and live the kind of lives that they want to, wouldn't they be much more willing to take the consistent actions that they need to?
Well, that is the goal, right? You know, the goal is to get people to do that. It's it's a struggle for all of us, but, you know, there is no imperfection in the core of who we are, right? So one of my favorite quotes is from The Wizard of Oz. It's the Glenda quote. You've always had the power, my dear. You just had to find it for yourself. So again, it's what I said before. It's like the holding that space for them, which I kind of hate that because it's been like a wah wah, like airy fairy kind of, floofy concept, but that is the reality. Like people come in, I'm not there to be a crutch, but I am there to be support. I'm not there to be an anchor or to be anchored, but I am there to be support.
Hmm.
And when once people start seeing results and seeing that they can do things, it's like it frees up the mental space for them to do more. So, people are down here. They're like, no, I can't do this. I've done this 100 times. I've never lost weight. I've never been able to keep it off. I'm like, this is different. And you have a team behind you. So, that goes back to the people cannot do it on their own, can't do it by themselves. Um, we should be able to. Reality is we should be able to, and we can, but until we have that belief in self, like people are always saying, have faith, have faith. And my answer is a little bit different. It's be faith. Be faith. Because then you're pulling down the belief that you are walking in the light. I know that sounds crazy, but
Yeah,
I
we now
know
we
trying to be,
well,
but
I mean, that could be pretty, esoteric,
it is
but I
esoteric.
think you're trying to make the distinction between what you do and who you actually are, and the who you are is more powerful
Then
than
we've
the
been
things
told.
that you do.
Then
Yeah,
we've been,
I yeah.
but in order to get things done, we have to really be who we are. So, and who we are is, oh my God, I just had the Friends episode flash before my eyes of Joey. No, Chandler doing the nighttime tapes, "You're a strong, powerful woman," the smoking hypnosis tapes, and
Right.
he got up in the morning, he's acting like a strong, powerful woman. I just had the, you are.
I have those tapes as well.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah, well,
So
Corinne, I'm assuming had internet troubles or maybe something else went on, but it's just you and me right now, Hate Angel.
hello.
Uh, so I guess I'm Charlie in a sense,
Oh,
and and you're Farah. But
no.
no, I understand. Okay, so
So I
I'm
always
thinking. Yeah,
sorry.
I'm also thinking of another movie, and we are really getting deep now into kind of pop culture. But there was a movie with Steve Martin, and he was a traveling preacher, and he was kind of a scam artist,
Yeah.
and he was, giving his sermons, and it was all very dramatic and whatever. I should preach like that, but I'm not today. Um, but someone stands up in the crowd and says, you're a phony. I mean, you're out there and you're stealing money, you're seducing women, and and he's like, oh my God, he's exposed.
Right.
And he's like, well, what do you want? You want some kind of a pasty faced virgin who's never sinned? No, of course I'm the sinner. So I would also say that understand that your guides that you hire, they know what it's like to be in that place. There is that commonality there.
Yeah.
We are sinners as well. We've sinned, and but we always get back up, and we understand the importance of assistance from other people. Now, Jen,
Yes.
you said you were talking a lot about reminding people and
Yes.
holding a space for them and giving them back their power and a lot of other new agey words.
Yes.
But there's other
Sure.
things. There's knowledge.
Okay.
There's accountability, there's understanding, there's
Yeah.
helping a person when they fall, and the key is what I was saying before, is that you tether yourself to the person. It doesn't mean that you annoy them. It doesn't mean that you torment them. You tether
No.
yourself to your angel. It means you have a strong communication line that you do not allow to break.
Right.
All right. You
Important.
definitely right. Right.
I just thought of another. I think in song lyrics. Hold on, you keep talking because I'm looking something up.
Well, as long as there's good song lyrics, then we're fine. But we don't want to hear bad, silly song lyrics.
Stop it! Nothing I
You,
listen to
you,
is silly.
you got something good? I mean, you mentioned
I do.
Train before. I don't even know who Train is.
Oh God! So there's a song by Katie Curtis, who's a singer-songwriter out of
Katie
Boston.
Curtis, another giant.
So
apologies to Katie.
Stop joking.
Go ahead.
Yes, you should, because she's very well known in the singer-songwriter circles. Actually, she's like an icon. So there's a line that says, "All the angels that I know are fallen and broken, soaking in the muddy river. All the angels that I love, they don't hang out above. They come down to deliver, and they deliver me." So now I'll take your apology.
I would forget about you. I'm apologizing to Katie because that was very profound and poetic.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
well done on Katie. There's that song, and I don't know who it's by, but it's a great song, even though it's sort of country.
Yeah.
And it's like about an angel that comes out of Memphis.
Angel from Memphis. Yeah.
Send me an angel.
Yeah. See,
Montgomery, not Memphis, Montgomery.
Montgomery. That's it. So here's another one. Jane Siberry, "Calling all angels, walk me through this world, don't leave me alone. We're trying, we're hoping, but we're not sure how." And then it talks, it's cool. And then, the Train one is a little bit more, again, "I won't calling all angels, I won't give up if you don't give up. I won't give up." It's cool.
That's also what an angel is. An angel does not give up. You can give up on your angel will not give up on you. Right. And that's why I was talking about having that strong communication line that you do not break. Right. When people get into trouble is when they transgress, when they sin, and now the shame builds up. And then they cut off the communication with their angels, and then they're screwed. Like, what hope is there if the person or the being that you're looking to for deliverance, if you're not willing to communicate with them?
So it's funny. I did a big outflow on Saturday. Like, I texted everybody who has been communicating with me, clients, and everybody who hasn't. And I reached out just to see like how they're doing and if they needed anything. So this morning I'm going to go back and answer the texts because I didn't get to answer on Sunday. I don't really do a lot on Sundays other than family stuff and whatever. But I find time and time again that people say, "I'm in trouble. That's why I didn't text you. I didn't reach out. I did this. And I'm like, my job is to get you out of trouble.
Right.
Oh, they say, "I don't want to get in trouble." I'm like, you're already in trouble. My job is to get you out of trouble. Like, I'm not here to punish you. I'm not here to make you feel bad. I'm not here. We do that enough. Like, we do enough. What is the word? Self-abnegation, like beating ourselves up in a really bad way. So I'm here to help you, not to make you feel worse. And
a person will beat will beat themselves up much, much worse than we would ever beat them up.
And what I find time and time again is that people come in, even though they say, "I'm not coming in, I had a bad week," they're surprised by their numbers actually not being as bad, because we're not looking at scale numbers, we're looking at health numbers. And then they get tools, like successful tools. People come to us when their inability to lose weight and keep it off, right? Isn't that
is affecting their health and their ability to enjoy life.
Thank you. And we get hired to help them fix those things. So, I don't want to spend my time chasing people down. I want to spend my time helping people.
That's right.
So again, it's a two-way street.
Well, there are tools, right? But it is part of the job, and sometimes you do need a firm hand. You do need to have the come to Jesus talk. Yes. Spare the rod, spoil the child. So no, occasionally, a good kick in the pants is not unwarranted. Whatever it takes to help a person get to where they ultimately want to be.
Yeah.
But the larger picture is that tools. You mentioned tools and knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, that's what we can do, since we can't follow around anyone 24/7, is we can give them the tools and knowledge that they need to help themselves.
Yes.
It's something about teach a man to fish.
Yes.
So that's part of the idea as well.
Yeah. And one of the things I run into time and time again is a misconception on weight, on the scale number in front of you. Like people don't understand if they're on a program to detox and get healthy and their weight goes up, we actually consider that a win because it means that there's cellular hydration. Your cells are absorbing hydration and water's life. So, if you don't water your plant, it's going to wilt, right?
Well, that's where we come to understanding.
Correct.
So again, part of our job is to give people understanding because we are not as attached as they are. We've seen thousands of people do this,
Right.
and we understand that weight loss is not always supposed to be linear. It's not always supposed to be consistent,
Right.
and that sometimes a temporary gain or a temporary plateau is actually a good thing. It's what the body needs. Now, if a person does not understand that, they're liable to get discouraged.
Frustrated.
Discouragement
Yeah.
is the devil's favorite tool.
Yes.
Right? And so who is here to help you fight the devil? Your priest and your angels. Are we getting it yet?
Yeah. So, yeah. And the devil is really inside of us. Like we create our own mindset with that little, that voice. You see the angel on one side and the devil on the other. Go like this. Flick that devil off, man.
Well, flicking the devil off, I mean, that can be harder than
It can be, but
like,
it can be. However, like when you have the two voices that you listen to and you're putting yourself down and I can't do this, and all the negativity floods in, just know that ain't a good voice. You shouldn't be listening to that. It's like peer pressure. Don't listen to the voices that are taking you down the road to perdition. And I'm mixing all my stuff now, jumping off bridges. Hey, if your friends were jumping off a bridge, would you do that too? No, that voice is the person telling you to jump off the bridge. Bad, go away. I watched a lecture. I think you were there. I watched a lecture or a talk once, hey, Corinne, by this guy who was talking about exactly the same thing. You have, the angel devil. And his thing was, said it with an Italian accent, like, shut the front door. Tell that voice, shut the front door. It's not what he said. He actually dropped it. But
Corinne, you've missed out on some really good stuff. We've combined ancient biblical wisdom with modern pop culture in a stew that is just delicious. People cannot get this anywhere else. Have you been listening or no? Just trying to get back on.
Just trying to get back. I had to restart my whole internet. My husband got kicked off. I got kicked off. So we had to restart our computers, the whole nine.
That was me last week.
Yeah. Got it. Okay. So, the great Martin Luther King once said, I've been to the promised land. And that's the idea. You have to know first that it exists. This is where what we were talking about last week and what Corinne hit on today, you have to know that there is something better, that it is worth it to make the efforts. And it's not until a person makes that choice or has that understanding or that epiphany, if we're going to use our religious language, that then they find us. I like to joke sometimes that when a person is ready, what happens? Historically, God sends them a Jewish man. We've seen that with Moses, with Jesus, with Paul. This is what happens. So I am that man. Now I am being self-aggrandizing, right?
And Rabbi Rundelstein is here to help you on your path.
That's right. Priest and rabbi. And again, it's all just about commitment. The words, whatever kind of religious imagery we want to use, is not as important as the understanding that we're trying to get across, which is that, we are reminding you officially, you've been officially put on notice that there is a better world for you, and you merely have to reach for it. 70% of the adults in this country are overweight or obese. 1 out of every 6 people has diabetes. Diabetes is a nasty disease. 1 out of every 4 children are now obese. There is a flow that is going in the wrong direction. It is very hard to fight that kind of an undertow.
Yeah.
All right. So if you're going to do it, you want to have a priest with you, who tells you that it can be fought. You want to have an angel who can elevate you out of it and deliver you to shore. Oh, this is getting good with the metaphors, Jen.
So I have all 4 songs that we spoke about up, and I'm going to post them my Monday morning. Ha. So, so to touch upon what you just said, and yes, the metaphors are getting really like we're slinging it right now.
Love it.
Love it. They're there for a reason, right? You can't always reinvent the wheel. So you
It's
draw
wisdom.
on yeah, exactly. It's standard. Um, we don't make any medical claims. However, a lot of those things that you
Don't say
mentioned,
however, just say we don't make any medical claims.
a lot of those things that you mentioned are what doctors consider lifestyle diseases.
That's right.
So the answer traditionally is here's a pill, go lose weight, know how to, know why, and no hope that you don't maybe necessarily need those medicines long term or lifetime. Like if you had the ability to control your health, you know how empowering that is? Like
Mm.
I mean, it's a responsibility point, right? That you have to say, I'm taking responsibility for myself. I'm not putting it outside to you to keep me healthy or you to give me pills to keep, and that's not to say that they aren't necessary sometimes, but there are better ways. And we don't make medical claims. We are a wellness and weight loss facility, but we see crazy stuff happen.
Well, if we are going to take the responsibility to communicate to people that there is a promised land and that
There
our
is.
promise is to help them get there, then I think it's incumbent upon us to also communicate the fact that there is another side. There is something down below,
Yeah,
and that's what we want to avoid,
right.
and that's why we want to create the conditions that create health. It doesn't mean that ultimately, there's not going to be any need for medicine. Nobody
Of
makes
course.
those claims.
Yep. Nope.
That certainly has its place, right? But everyone does have a choice. The world can be very disempowering. The messages that we hear can be very disempowering. There is a there is an idea that's stated generally pretty subtly, and it's just a part of our culture. It's like become a part of the fabric of our culture that there's not much we can do for our health.
Oy.
It's all about our genes,
Yeah.
and that eventually we're all going to get whatever. Sometimes it's just chalked up to age, right? Someone's 45 years old, and they can't lose weight and they're on 3 different medications. Like, well, it's your age. No.
Lies.
Corinne, question for you. Have you been given this communication, or in what ways have you as a mother, whether it's for yourself or for your children, been given this communication that, health problems are pretty much always genetic and that there's nothing that can be done about it?
Well, I mean, yes and no. I mean, some of it is genetics, right? But some of it's
Some of it
not
is,
genetic. Some of it's not genetics, and some of
right?
it's like, the decisions and the foods that you decide to put in your mouth. And it's kind of crazy because, I keep thinking about this lovely video Marissa was watching the other day, and it was all about sugar. And it tells you that, did you know that sugar is addicting to your brain and that kids shouldn't eat sugar? And I'm going, we all know this, and I'm going, why is this on YouTube Kids? And then I'm like, well, it's a good thing. Like, I'll take it. Like,
Yeah.
then she sees it and she knows it. And she says to me, well, Mom, should I have sugar? No, you shouldn't have sugar. You don't need it. But
Yeah.
the truth is the world would be a better place if those types of,
Lies.
um, not, no, no, not even lies, but if those types of foods were not even
Oh,
produced,
yes. Yeah.
like
Yes, but this is part of the point, right? Is that we live in an aberrated culture whereby we're constantly receiving messages to eat this poisonous food, and then we're also told by the quote unquote healthcare industry that these problems are inevitable and unavoidable. Well, that can't be,
Right.
when up until the 1980s the obesity rate in this country was between 11 and 14%,
right.
and now it's coming up. I'm not sure exactly what the obesity rate is. I know obesity plus overweight is like 70%.
It's
So
insane.
it can't be the human body. We have not evolved that much physically, that things have changed that rapidly. It's
Right.
part of a design, or it's part of just caring more about selling products than it is about creating health. So
Health.
again, it's incumbent upon us. Now, how do you fight a very strong undertow, a very strong current like that? Is again, it's very important to have a team with you.
Education, knowledge.
Education, knowledge.
Yeah.
Right,
So I tell people, women, we deal with a preponderance of women. This program is not female based. It works for anybody. Men, come on in, because you have traditionally hard time asking for directions, you guys, but we give you direction, right? Yeah, we'll help you. We'll put you on that pathway. I have women come in and say, my doctor said, I'm middle aged and menopausal or perimenopausal and I can't lose weight. I'm like, I'm going to tell you BS on that. I was given that information and I was told that I would not be able to lose weight because I was a middle aged perimenopausal woman who had had 3 children, and I should just accept the fact that I should get down to like 150 pounds and be happy with it. And I wasn't happy with that. I wasn't happy where I was. I was also told that I had autoimmune issues, that the only thing that would be able to help was cortisone injections and Wellbutrin and antidepressants and anti-anxiety meds, and I wasn't having that either. So, genes they're called dictator genes: hair color, eye color, height, stature, that we can't change. But everything else, the gun is loaded, we pull the trigger. And a lot of people don't want to hear that because they don't want to take the responsibility for themselves, but they're given a message that there's nothing you can do about it, that
right,
this is the way it is. But diabetes, high blood pressure, all those things don't run in families. Bad eating habits run in families. So that's something that can be changed. I mean, there is a certain amount of it that you look at the body style and you could see that there's a certain amount of that. But wouldn't you want to be able to affect your own change? Isn't that more empowering than the message of, there's nothing you can do about it. It is what it is. Why bother anyway? We're driven down into a place of apathy,
right.
inability to do anything by design. So we turn to sources outside of ourselves for help. And listen, doctors get into it for good reasons. I'm not like denigrating the whole field, but they're not taught nutrition. So they can't give to people what they don't know. They can't teach people about what they don't know. That is changing. I'm seeing a shift in that.
That's right.
But, but we can change it. No meds, no injections, no cortisone injections, lost the weight. The doctor that told me those things that I couldn't because of where I was in age and having had children and hormonal stature. When I went in to see her after 2 years, and I didn't want to go back and see her because I was embarrassed and pissed off that I got such bad data. I walked in the door and her jaw fell on the floor because I took off 60 pounds despite being told that I couldn't.
Right.
So
Because
we're
you're old.
because
That's what they said.
yes.
Well, listen, here's the thing. So,
Yes.
not only do we as priests and angels uh, remind people of where they can be and help them to get there, we outline a path, and that
Right.
path is now growing,
Yeah.
right? The path traditionally has been for weight loss, and we've always had tools for weight maintenance, which is really what people definitely need now.
Yes.
Most people who come to us after having lost weight several times.
Right.
That's not, that's not everyone. There are some people who we're the first thing they've ever done. There are some people who, there's all kinds of different situations. But the fact is that now we have this new tool that we've created. It is a maintenance program. It is a holistic maintenance program. The approach is physical, chemical, spiritual, environmental.
Yeah. Team.
This is a path to getting to where you need to be and to staying there, to staying on that road. Now, one thing I would encourage everyone to do is, we outline when people come into the office where they should be, what's ideal as far as health numbers based on the body composition monitor that we do. All right. But I would encourage you also to help other people to get to where they need to be. So in other words, the people who come to us can themselves be angels,
Right.
because it's only going to help you, especially if you start with your family members. Do you know how many mothers have told me how frustrated they are because their kids are overweight and they don't think that there's anything they can do about it? Well, guess
Yeah, but
what?
stop
We're
that
gonna
right there, Dr. R.
Yeah.
That's the parents' fault because if
Well,
you they think it's okay to go to McDonald's or you think it's okay to make your kid mac and cheese every day or to eat chicken nuggets and not teach them to eat fresh fruits or to eat fresh vegetables and fresh stuff,
I
then
want to change the verbiage a little bit. I don't want to say it's the parents' fault. I want to say it's the
but it
parents'
is.
responsibility. Again, there is a whole larger culture out there. Kids are in school for 8 hours a day. Kids are watching commercials also. You
Right.
Mhm.
know, their developing brains are very prone to get hooked on sugar.
Yeah.
So it
But
is the
it's our job as a
it
parent.
that's what I'm saying.
Right.
We're in total agreement. It's
But
the
there's a
parents'
difference between
responsibility.
playing the blame game and giving responsibility
Right.
to somebody. So if we
Right.
play blame, it drives people down into
Mhm.
we've just put up a wall. And I agree with you. It is, what we bring into the house is imperative, but they are out there. But if we start laying blame at parents' feet, then we're
Right.
creating a barrier and a wall, and nobody's going to be able to hear us. Instead, if we twist it and turn it and say, you have a greater responsibility to your children to do better for them. If you know better and you're getting educated, then that spirals out into your family, your friends, your environment.
Right.
So it's a higher energetic tone level to elevate responsibility through knowledge and understanding than it is to blame. Because the minute somebody starts giving me blame, I'm like, you know what? You can go piss off because it's crushing. It's
Well,
crushing.
listen, it's
Don't blame.
there's
Yeah.
a lot of truth to say to somebody, it's not necessarily your fault. The reason people are heavy in this country, people have been lied to, people have been sold a bill of goods.
Right.
We've been told that nutrition doesn't matter.
That's
I
it.
saw I saw a film in chiropractic school where the doctors were saying that cancer is 100% genetic and it had nothing to do with lifestyle. We know that's not the case, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter really where the fault lies.
Yeah.
What matters is where the responsibility lies.
Correct.
The responsibility lies with us as individuals to take care of our own possession, our body being primary among them. The responsibility lies with parents to educate their children and give them tools.
Correct.
And we are increasing our responsibility. We want to reach out to families as well for two reasons.
Right.
Number one is it's very difficult for our clients who are losing weight, who are on that good path, to stay there when they go home
Yeah.
and they're eating healthily and everyone around
And it's
them is not.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And
The other is because we know that the most important thing to mothers, to parents, is their children. We know how upsetting it is. We're told this over and over again. So that's why we're going to be providing tools for that as well as part of our new maintenance program.
right. And I don't disagree with Corinne. I think she's 100% right. The responsibility lies in the parents. So it's either high responsibility or low responsibility, and sometimes no. But, it's a different approach than using the word blame. That's all I was clarifying, just to let you
Mhm.
know. So
Yeah.
100%, like, what we bring into this house is, yeah. But there are
You
people
are what
who,
you eat. Is nice.
there are people who bring things into this house, you know, stop it.
Listen, in my own house, we're guilty of it too. We're all
Absolutely.
guilty of it. We all
We're
have
all
it in the
sinners.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all do it. I mean, look, Marissa went to school today with Cheez-Its. So did Brianna. Like,
Yeah.
is that the best choice? No. Should I have maybe gotten them cauliflower Cheez-Its? Probably.
An
Like
apple.
we right, or an apple or
An
something,
apple.
you know.
Yeah.
But, I mean, my kids always go to school with fruit and a snack.
Good.
But, you know,
No one's
the,
saying it's not easy with children. And once again, when we talk about how aberrated our culture is, it's made almost impossible. All their friends are eating certain things. it's very difficult. It doesn't mean that we throw our hands up in the air. So
Right.
again, we're going to continue to look at tools, to create tools. We have some, they're
Just
part of the maintenance program, and we do want to encourage people to do that. And that is part of the whole angel model. You become an angel yourself and you help others get to where they want to be. All right. So we've about run out of time. Is
Yeah.
there anything else, Jen or Corinne, that we feel is necessary to say?
Nope. Have a good week, everyone.
Yeah.
Have a good week. All
Yeah.
right, good. Jen?
I was just mulling over what you said, and same thing with Corinne. So when there was a time when my daughter was really sick and she wasn't eating, young, like she was like 4 years old, and I was at the pediatrician, and I loved my doctor. She was holistic, like integrative, and I said, she's asking for French fries and chocolate and cheese doodles, and I want to give her healthy food. She's sick, and her answer to me was, get her to eat. Once you open up her palate and her stomach, she will go back to the healthy foods you provide. But right now, the key is to get her to eat because she had lost a lot of weight.
Right. Guys, eat something.
She's like, get her to eat anything at this
Yeah.
point, which maybe wasn't the best advice, but it worked. Right afterwards, she went right back to healthy eating. But she, for whatever reason, her body was crying out for those things. So that's the decision point to balance that also. So,
Understood. Understood. Okay, listen, we are going to be here next week. The week after,
Oh.
we are not going to be here.
2 weeks.
Okay. 2 weeks. I don't even know what day it is. But the point is, there's going to be a point in time in the near future where we are not going to be here with you. It doesn't mean we are not here for you.
We'll do it
All
a
right.
different day.
We do have phones. What's up, Jen?
We'll do it a different day. We're going to do it on Tuesday instead of Monday. Isn't that what we decided?
That's, I think, on New Year's.
Christmas.
But
Right. So
between
we're here
Christmas-
next week. The following week, we're not here.
That's right.
And then the following week, we're here on the 3rd.
Right.
I'm
So
confused.
that's how it looks. Jen, don't look quizzical. It'll all work out in the end. But yes, so listen, everyone, have a great week, and we will be back with you next week, perhaps to preach some more.
Bye,
Take care.
guys. Have a good week.
Bye.